Welcome to the new, almost ready, Mountain Line Downtown Connection Center. This is a new transit community center that we've been in the planning works for over 10 years here in Flagstaff. The real goal and purpose of this project was to be able to showcase and provide excellent service for our riding public, and really to showcase transit in Flagstaff. This building is located right in the heart of downtown Flagstaff. As you can hear, the train is going by right now.
This is the second mass timber building in the state of Arizona, the first one in the city of Flagstaff. Some of the unique qualities and obstacles that we've had to overcome is generally educating trade partners and facilitating an extended planning process. Some of the unique elements of this project building in Flagstaff, one of the first and foremost is the weather. We do get large amounts of snowfall each year, and we have a pretty robust monsoon pretty consistently, so having to plan outdoor activities where we install the masonry through the winter under tent and heat, and turned out with a fantastic product. For this project, some other unique challenges is the site is located in the busy downtown Flagstaff setting, so site logistics is definitely a consideration in much of our pre-construction planning and on a weekly basis, particularly with the mass timber installation, sequencing trucks to be delivered in order of installation so that they could be picked off the trailer and installed without handling or having to store on site.
Part of our challenges here is we had to build, as we mentioned earlier, had to build the masonry first because of the fabrication timing of the mass timber. So that meant we had to get all of these walls up to full height. The tolerances were plus or minus 3/16 of an inch from Timber Lab, and then we also had another 3/16 of an inch within the masonry tolerance as well. So to combat that, we surveyed about every 4 feet to ensure that we weren't waving in and out of our walls. The next bigger challenge we had was once we pulled the scaffolding down, we had no room to brace these walls because the mass timber had to fly in large beams and the bracing would be in the way. So we worked with our structural engineer to internally brace this with additional rebar and engineering. So a lot of these walls were freestanding and would sustain wind loads through the construction of the mass timber.
So a unique aspect of mass timber construction is generally the structure is also the architecture. So we closely coordinated with many of those elements, some in the background behind me with HDR, so everything from the masonry wall design that's acting as our shear walls, to the stair behind me, which is exposed structural steel, along with the mass timber treads and landing. Those elements are all highly architectural, so there's a lot of close coordination there. Also, along with the main superstructure behind me, you can see there's a lack of connections which are hidden within the wood itself.
So in the connection above me, there's two sides of this connector that are kind of a mirrored image of each other. So on the column, you have the receiver, and diode into the end of the beam, you have the other connection. So they are married together in that fashion and connected and secured with screws at the top of the beam.
A very important aspect with wood construction and mass timber is early planning for any MEP penetrations or openings, as that can be difficult to accomplish in the field. So early on, we worked with our contractor Lovin and their VDC team to pre-plan the pipe routing through any structural elements, and provided openings in the glue lamps for things like sprinkler piping to keep everything tucked up and high.
The MEP coordination was really critical for both in exposing it, but also with the depth of the beams a little bit deeper than with other conventional structural systems. So very close coordination in maintaining those shallow crossing distances between the beams. We were able to reduce height out of the building by going with our lower profile systems, which worked really well. with that coordination we're already doing to try to get as tight as possible under those beams. In addition to that, we planned penetrations, limited penetrations through these beams, but engineered those in advance in order to provide the maximum amount of flexibility for particularly running power.
HDR is a big believer in sustainability, so with the CLT we actually did the solar tubes and a lot of daylighting analysis. Through all the offices as we walk around, the window to floor ratio was really scrutinized so that we had the proper daylighting so that we didn't overlight the space. We're in kind of the atrium space here, and above us we worked with Solitube on getting proper daylighting levels with the Solitubes, and we also, through this main space, we have the two conference rooms that are going to be for all the employees, and those are curtain wall and storefront, and so that brings a lot of light down.
So we designed net zero MEP systems to support the building. That includes radiant heated and cooled floors, chilled beams, cold climate air source heat pumps, and photovoltaic panels you see behind me here. A few notable pieces about that: the chill beams in combination with the radiant floors let us really minimize the amount of overhead distribution that was required in the building, which allowed us to expose more of the CLT mass timber structure of the building. It also had the benefit of being very efficient, particularly in this cold climate. Being able to heat the building from below allowed us to more efficiently heat the space and reduce the total usage for the building.
We are going to achieve substantial completion at the end of April and having our final completion date in early June with the Mountain Line move-in shortly thereafter.
Phase 2 will actually improve our operations hub, which is where our buses hub and pulse all day, where people make transfers. We will have 13 bus bays. We would have electrification for vehicles for the buses to get charges for en route charging. We'll also have a civic space, which is further to the east. All of that would be constructed in roughly 2028 after our City of Flagstaff completes their Rio de Flag project.